When I was about 18 years old, one of my first jobs was working for my dad. He ran a concrete contracting company for 25 years, and I was proud to work with him. And one day, he and I went to a business to build a driveway. About halfway through the driveway, my dad found that there were roots up near the foundation, which were going to mess up the way the driveway looked. So he worked around that and tried to make the driveway a little unique to compensate for the roots. Well, about halfway through that, the commissioner who commissioned Dad to do the job, he came out real angry, saying, "This isn't the way I wanted the driveway to look. This is all wrong. This is terrible. You did a terrible job." And instead of talking to Dad about why he chose to do it, he just said, "You know what? I'll pay you for what you've already poured, and I'll pay you to rip it up, but I don't want you to finish it. I'm going to hire someone else who will come in and do it my way." Now, as far as I know, that driveway was never finished. But Dad left the project. We didn't get paid well for our services, and the driveway, like I said, I don't think was ever finished. But the reason I bring up this story is because it reminds me a lot of what For Honor tends to be during updates and how it's acting right now. Guys, I promise I'm going to do a video on Warmonger. Give me a little bit more time to work with her and figure her out before I make that video. And soon I'm going to be working on the Crusade series, where I talk about the Crusades and debunk a few myths about them and talk about what they were really like, kind of like what I did with the Guan Yu video. But first, I want to address this issue. With the arrival of Warmonger, a core combat update came with her that was supposed to help address problems brought up in the core gameplay. The game was going to switch to a more offensive style of fighting by making damage more consistent, addressing light spam issues, and overall making it a more fast-paced experience. They did this by doing a few things. They hid the attack indicator for the first 100 milliseconds so that it would be harder to anticipate and parry on block. They increased stamina penalties for light attacks so that they couldn't just light spam their attacks. They decreased the damage output of lights across the board so that they're not as devastating. And they made a few frame rate changes to discourage light spams to reward heavy finisher combos. And for the most part, I think that a lot of these ideas in practice are good. After playing a lot yesterday, I saw that the gameplay was a lot more aggressive. It was more fast-paced. It felt more quick, and people were throwing more combos rather than just feinting out of an attack just to turtle up and parry or deflect or something. It felt more like a fun, action-packed game. But I won't deny there were a few problems. Yeah, there were a few problems, and I do want to bring them up here. For one thing, I think that if they wanted to address light spamming, they shouldn't have increased stamina penalty for lights and decreased light damage. I think you should have gone with one or the other, not both, because bringing it to one or the other makes lights really, really hard to rely on, and they can wear out a player, especially a player or character who relies on lights a lot, like the Shaolin or the Shaman or the Valkyrie. So that is a problem. And I also noticed that damage numbers across the board were inconsistent. Like, you had heavy damage, like I think it was 44 damage from a Warden overhead unblockable heavy, but 5 damage for a Peacekeeper dodge heavy. Some of these were very inconsistent, and I didn't like that. I think that that's something that need to be fixed. But you know what? It can be fixed. It's not hard, you know. You make a patch, address some of these damage changes, and if you fix that, that'll take care of a large amount of the problems. I'm optimistic. I think that they will notice this problem and fix it. I think it's just a mistake on their end. It's not a big deal. But the community's response to this update has not been optimistic or fairly critical. It's been very destructive rather than constructive. I have read countless comments announcing that the game is dead, they're uninstalling, Ubisoft doesn't care, the game is unplayable, and on and on and on. I even heard a few folks say that this was just Ubisoft's way to get people to stop playing the game so they can disconnect the servers and let the game die. Not only do I not believe that, but it leads me to a theory that I've suspected for a long time. If For Honor does die, it will not be because of the developers' decisions or bad updates. It will be because of a pessimistic and hostile community who partakes in self-fulfilling prophecies. Let me explain what I mean. None of what's happening right now surprises me. Even the first season, the very first season of For Honor, had a community that was largely hostile to the game, declaring it dead for everything and anything. Ubisoft can't even breathe on this game without someone saying it's dead. I often compare the For Honor community to the WebMD of gaming communities, because no matter what symptoms or changes come to the game, the community always declares it to be cancer and death. The reason I created this analysis was to actually be more positive about this game and to praise it as well as criticize it. But so many have needlessly been angry and hostile to the game. When Year 2 launched and there were no new heroes for a while, the community declared the game was dying. When Marching Fire came with the Wu Lin, people called the Wu Lin useless and hated them, choosing not to buy them. When the Harbinger heroes were launched, they were hated and panned as either being bash spammers, unkillable gods, stamina bullies, and useless Kensei knockoffs. And now a new combat update has come out, and though I admit it has problems, everyone seems to be losing their mind over changes that honestly aren't hard to fix if we address them to the developers. They've proven that they can address solid changes and problems if we point them out consistently and fairly, like the Centurion rework or the Shugoki rework. They took time to come out, but they addressed the problems we brought up because enough people brought them to the forefront. They do listen, they do make good changes, but they require us to be constructive in our criticism. They aren't going to listen to people who do nothing but scream and cry about how dead the game is, because they get enough of that already. Like, for example, in the past, I heard a lot of people say, we hate light spam. Everybody who plays the game is just a light spammer. Light spamming is killing this game. So the developers decided to make a few choices to address this. And how did the people react to these choices? Oh, we hate this. The lights drain too much stamina and don't do any damage now. Light combos are impossible to do. You clearly don't care. You don't listen to us. It's like you took everything that we wanted and tossed it aside. See, that doesn't help anything. You know, it doesn't make you sound smart. It doesn't make you sound fair. It doesn't make you sound critical. What I would say to that is, you know, they tried to address the problem, and I think that it's not quite a perfect solution yet. I would recommend, personally, you know, either make it so that lights drain more stamina, or make it that lights don't take as much health. Do one or the other, don't do both, because if you do one or the other, then it will still discourage light spamming without making lights impossible to do. Doing both just, you know, hurts lights as a general rule. But I'm not going to scream the dead's game because of the game's dead because of this problem. Just, it's not perfect. But here's what I would say. If I were a developer, I would say to this person who screams that the game is dead, okay, how would you fix it? This isn't me being patronizing, I'm just curious. If you don't like the solutions we came up with, what would be your recommendation? What would you do? And I've read people's recommendations on For Honor forums, and some of them are ridiculous. One person straight up said, delete the heroes who can light spam, like Orochi or Peacekeeper or Valkyrie or all these others that light spam. And I'm like, are you kidding? Delete the heroes? That's ridiculous. Why would you want to delete heroes? Another person said make light attacks slower. Well, yeah, that's one option, except anytime that's done, people get upset. They just made Orochi's light attack slower, and people are saying that it killed Orochi. Orochi's dead now. So that doesn't work. And then make characters who light spam take damage for it. So maybe if they do a certain number of light attacks in a row, they take damage. I don't know if that would work. That seems silly to me. But the problem is, Ubisoft's proposal is no more insane than some of these proposals. So I don't know why people are saying, you don't care and you don't listen. When their idea has merit, it just needs to be refined. Look, my point is this. Don't cry about things not going your way. Be an adult about this and propose solutions, or, if you don't have solutions, offer constructive criticism. Why? Because if all Ubisoft hears from the community is that they consider the game dead and they don't want to play it, then eventually Ubisoft will kill the game, and all of us who still love playing it will be out of a wonderful, one-of-a-kind game. And the people who cried and whined about it will stand around scratching their heads going, wow, they actually killed the game. Why would they do that? And from the mountain I will smash the stone tablets upon the ground and cry, you are a stubborn and stiff-necked people. It was you who brought about this fate, and now you shall be without this game that was enjoyable and one of a kind, and there shall be much wailing, gnashing of teeth, and angry tweeting. Okay, so biblical jokes aside, my point is this. Firstly, I recognize and agree that the core combat update is not perfect, and it is in clear need of fixing. I agree with that. And I do hope that the developers notice these problems and fix them soon with a patch of some kind. I believe in them. I'm optimistic about the game, and I'm really excited to see what comes later down the road. But to the community who seems to have no desire for criticism and only seeks to ridicule and besmirch the developers and their work, I urge you to stop and ask how this helps the game or the player base. Simply acting childish and angry about things you don't like doesn't encourage anyone to fix the game, nor does it encourage anyone else to play the game. I'm sure that I'm going to get a big comment section of people telling me how stupid I am, or how I don't understand because I'm saying all this. But I stand by it. I don't think anything the For Honor developers have done is really as bad as people say. And anything bad they have done can be easily fixed with patches or adjustments. I do believe that the development team still care about this game. I do believe they want to make this a wonderful season. I just think they made a bad move here, and I think it's fixable. Overreacting and being hateful to the game, calling it dead, doesn't make the game more fun, it doesn't fix it, and it doesn't encourage anyone to keep playing. It's what I might call a self-fulfilling prophecy. Guys, this game is one of a kind. I want it to last as long as possible. But it's only going to do that if the developers continue to believe that we care about the game. And I do. I hope that the developers have seen some of my videos and know that at least some of us, those of you in my comment section, those of you who have subscribed, those of you who follow my videos and enjoy what I have to produce, I hope that they see us and realize, you know what, there is still an audience for this game. There are still people out there who love this game and really, really want it to be as great as it can be. I do expect better from Ubisoft, but I have enough faith in them to believe that they can fix these problems and still make this game amazing. And to prove it, pretty soon I'm going to be releasing a Warmonger video, and you know what, guys? I started off being very unhappy and very disappointed in the Warmonger. I've changed my mind. I've got a lot to say about the Warmonger. I'm very excited to make her video. There's a lot that I want to say about her, both historically, culturally, and lore-wise. Very, very excited to talk about Warmonger, and I'm going to be doing a Crusade series. In fact, while I'm on that subject, my brother, when he was in college, took an entire class series on the Crusades, and he is something of an expert in the field, even more so than I am. I'm going to be visiting him this week. So please, if you want to know anything about the Crusades, or you have any questions for us about the Crusades, please put them in the comment section. We'll address them together once we get started on that series of videos. We're going to debunk a few myths about the Crusades that you've probably heard. It's going to be a great time. I am so excited about this, guys. For Honor is continuing to impress me. Even though I'm disappointed in some of the things this Core Combat Update released, I still believe in the best this game can be, and I still believe that the game can and will be amazing going forward. So, with all that out of the way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and the rest of your week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave your comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.